Hello, all, and welcome to Astro Wheel of Fortune. My name is Vlada, and I read tarot. Today, I decided to do a reading where the cards will pick your topic. So, the way that I'm doing this reading is that every pile will have a topic that the cards want to address with you. So, it could be like your love life or your career, or maybe they want to address your friendships, or maybe they want to address completely something out of left field. I'm also going to try and channel a little bit more rather than just read from the cards. I just wanted to do something different for my channel. I'm just trying to keep it kind of more like have a bit more variety for myself as well. And just trying not to constantly get stuck in a routine. I really want my readings to kind of have a flow and a changeability to them, I guess. So I just put out 5 stones and you can pick whatever one you like. So we've got pile 1, which is the red jasper. We've got pile 2, which is pyrite. We've got pile 3, which is citrine. We've got pile 4, which is malachite. And we've got pile 5, which is black tourmaline. So you can pick whatever crystal you want, whatever stone that you want. And I'm going to get started. So I'll put these piles away, or these stones away, and we're going to get started with pile 1, which is the red carnelian. And first of all, let's shuffle some tarot and see what is it actually that they want to talk about with you, pile 1, or red carnelian group, I suppose. What's the topic that you want to discuss with this group, please? High Priestess in reverse and the Justice card. They want to, so I'm just going to take these cards because I feel like it's really interesting here, because the High Priestess to me represents the idea of intuition, the hidden things, the things that are not immediately seen, that are felt through intuition, through gut feelings, etc., etc. And it's in reverse. And the Justice card to me represents more the logical side of life. It represents logic. It represents, the factual sides of life, getting your facts straight, getting your logical explanations. It's kind of like, because when we think of the Justice card, we think of the law, where everything needs evidence, everything needs fact, everything needs to be written down. Whereas when we look at the High Priestess, it's something that doesn't need those things. It's a lot more broad. Intuitive messages can be a lot more broad, right? Having an intuitive feeling about something without factual evidence, you could be called crazy or unreasonable for calling something out just based on your intuition. Whereas when it comes to logic, and if you have evidence and facts to present, of course, you are taken seriously. And again, obviously that has its place in many things, but I feel like something for you, pile 1, that the cards are highlighting to you is that maybe you feel guilty for going after something or doing something because you don't have factual evidence that it will work. You avoid listening to your intuition. It's like your intuition will say, hey, if you go for that job, or you go for this person, or you try to start this relationship, something great could really happen. Or hey, something bad would happen. Or you get a good or a bad gut feeling about something, and your brain straight away comes in and goes, where's the evidence, where's the logic for that? And I think you tend to listen to your logic, which has its place. And I absolutely am not knocking down using logic and using evidence and using facts. But I feel like you cheat yourself out of a lot of opportunities by always waiting for that evidence to come in, because it's kind of like, why am I hearing like your guides being very sassy almost? And they're kind of like, guess what? Evidence doesn't always come in until it's too late. And, you already had to make a decision there. I feel like maybe you're having a lot of intuitive feelings that you're trying to push away right now. You're having a lot of intuitive feelings that you're wanting to dismiss right now. Because there's no evidence for them, I suppose. Maybe you're having a feeling about somebody and you're kind of like, oh, this person's either good or bad for me and I should act on that. And your brain is like, but where is the logical evidence? Where is the factual base And you're like, I don't know, well, I guess it's not here, so I'm just gonna stay in limbo and I won't make any decisions. I feel like not following your intuition is stopping you from making decisions, because your head, it's kind of like you either only make decisions when you have evidence, and you know for sure, and you have for fact that you know you have facts to go off something and to actually do it, then you make a decision. But again, Justice card, it does talk about Libras, Justice card is ruled by Libra. So the idea, like Libras, they're not indecisive because they're just airy fairy airheads. They're indecisive because they are wanting evidence and they're wanting concrete proof. Because at the end of the day, don't forget, Libras are very logical. They are an air sign, They have a lot of logical, critical thinking abilities. It's not like they're incapable of logic. So in a way, I feel like your spirit guides are saying you are an extremely clever, intelligent, critical thinker. You are extremely smart. And it's sometimes it works against you because it makes you indecisive, because you are relying too much on evidence and logic to make your decisions and to move forward. You're wanting proof for things that maybe your intuition already knows, like the proof is out there somewhere. Like your intuition might feel like the proof is out there somewhere. I just need to kind of take a leap of faith. I don't mean you have to be silly about things. You don't have to, take huge risks or anything like that. But I feel like your spirit guides are really asking you to get in touch with your intuition. Not that I keep getting my like the way that it's coming out is wrong, because I think you are very intuitive, pile 1 or group 1. I think you are super intuitive. I think you have a very strong intuition, but it's almost like I almost want to put these 2 cards here, because I feel like the Justice card, it's almost like your logic is sitting on top of your intuition. And it's kind of like your intuition is in this basin, and what I'm imagining? It's like, I think I saw like a Vine or a video of a cat that had trapped, either it was like a toddler or another animal under a basin, and the cat was like sitting under this basin, and either, I don't know if it was a baby or a dog, like it was fine. Like the whoever was under the basin got out, but the cat was like trapping this either animal or baby under the basin. So I'm kind of getting like your intelligence and your logical ability is like the cat, and you have your intuition in the basin, and the cat is sitting on top of the basin, and the cat is like, you're not fucking getting out. You're sitting in here. I don't want you out because I'm in charge. But I feel like the intuition is like trying to get out. So you need to you have to come in as an autonomous being and take your brain and go, okay, well, you have a place, but intuition also has a place here. So, but it's funny because when I put these cards like this and they're mirroring each other, what's interesting to me as well is that it's like your intelligence and your intuition are more similar than I kind of seeing them as almost separate entities, but they're so similar. They're direct reflections of each other. And I never noticed this about these cards. They're actually, if you think about these cards, they're very similar. Like, look at the 2 pillars here, right? And there's like a textile fabric that's hanging down, right? And then we look at this one, and there's 2 pillars and a textile fabric behind the figure in the Justice card as well, which is interesting. That's really cool to me. I feel like your intuition and your intellectual, factual kind of side of you, the brainy side of you, they could work so well together. But the brain always wants to take over. The logic always wants to take over. I might leave these cards like that for now. Let's pull from another deck. I want to pull another couple of cards for you. Or maybe just 1 card. Okay, we've got 2 cards. We've got the Knight of Cups. And we've got the 8 of Pentacles. For some of you, this could be a message of trusting people, quite literally. It's like maybe some of you feel like you can't trust people until you have proof that you can trust people. But how do you define that? I feel like your guides are kind of like, how do you define trusting people? I feel like some of you are kind of thinking to yourself, oh, well, I will trust this person when they give me proof that I can trust them. But in a way, your guides are saying that's not the way it works. Like, you can trust people until they give you proof not to trust them. But trust can be earned, but you will never have absolute proof that you can trust somebody. You will only ever have absolute proof that you can't trust someone, if that makes sense. So in a way, you have to trust yourself to trust another person, and trust your intuition to trust another person. And something about this is, maybe in the past when you trusted someone and that trust was take a shot every time I say the word trust in this pile, but when you trusted somebody in the past and they betrayed that trust, you felt like the trust between your intuition and you got broken, because it's like you trusted your intuition to tell you whether you can trust this person or not. And I feel along the way, there's almost like this feeling of, I can't trust my intuition anymore. If you had to look at it this way, you had your brain and see a brain as a person, and then see your intuition and see intuition as a person. And the two of them are like co-workers, and they're working for you, and you're the boss, right? And it's like your brain always never failed you, always did a good job, always, you were always intelligent, you were always smart, you were always able to see evidence and facts and logic. Your intuition betrayed you before. But I don't think it was your intuition betraying you so much as your brain maybe stepping in. And in a way, it's like, when the brain and the facts step in, and, the facts maybe showed that the person was trustworthy. And so you were like, the person's trustworthy according to the facts, and I'm listening to the facts first. But maybe your intuition was going off and saying, don't trust this person. But you're punishing the intuition and rewarding the brain. If you were seeing them as two, like, I'm almost seeing them as two coworkers, and it's like you have a favorite coworker, and that's the brain, and your least favorite coworker that you're the boss of, and that's the intuition. And the intuition is doing extra hours. The intuition's working hard. The intuition is like putting they're all in, and they're wanting to impress you. The intuition wants to impress you. Like, you have such strong intuition, but you're like, no, bad intuition. Stay in this basin that the brain has trapped you under. I don't know if these visuals are helping you, or like these I suppose like these metaphors are helping you, but I'm hoping they are. That's just what I'm seeing in my mind's eye. But I feel like you are dismissing completely trustworthy people right now, or group one. You could be dismissing people that could actually be beautiful parts of your life. You're dismissing people that could actually aid you in your progression. And sometimes another thing that I'm seeing is that sometimes maybe when you start dealing with a person, they are a trustworthy person, and they can actually become a non-trustworthy person over time. I'm kind of getting like, it's not a set in stone kind of thing. Like, people change and people evolve, but people also can change in like, in a not so great way. Like, it's not that everyone's always growing as well. We have to, like, I feel like that's where the shadow work comes in, and it's really important to understand. Yes, you might be the type of person that's always striving to grow and become better, but don't forget, really good people can also kind of like almost go backwards. People can get corrupted by things as well, and that's why shadow work is so important. That's why, like, you can't really see things as love and light all the time. You have to recognize that sometimes you have to just trust a person, and they could be trustworthy in the time when you meet them, etc., etc. But you don't know, like, people get corrupted along the way, and that's not your fault, and it's not something you should be punishing yourself for, if that makes sense. Jesus, this message has gotten so deep, like, in a matter of 15 minutes. But I feel like your intuition's really, there's something about your intuitive abilities that are just begging to get out, that are begging to be heard. I'm hearing, I want to be honored. So I feel like your intuition wants to be honored. So maybe write down the things that your intuition's telling you. Like, maybe sometimes try and Write down what your intuition is telling you and try and remove the logical evidence based part out. But there's no reason that you couldn't integrate the two. And I think the whole message is about integrating the two. I feel like your guides are really kind of trying to come in and say, maybe if you need to, you can journal what your intuition is telling you, but you don't have to immediately act on it. You can kind of put it aside and then maybe write, maybe if you had 2 columns and one was for the intuition and one was for the brain. It's almost like a pros and cons list, but like intuition versus brain list. So maybe if you're making decisions, I feel like this whole thing is about deciding whether you want to trust something or someone. And I think you've been struggling with it. And maybe that's something that you could use. Maybe that's, I've never done that exercise, but maybe I will start. But maybe that's an exercise for you. I'm even seeing for some reason, I'm seeing brain versus intuition, here. Brain versus intuition. You could have 2 columns and one is brain and one intuition. And what do they tell you? What does your brain tell you? What does your intuition tell you? And over time, you could even start integrating different, maybe you can even add a column in terms of your spirit guides. What do you think your spirit guides are telling you? Maybe that's an exercise that you can get involved in. But it's all about training your intuition as well. I feel like your intuition wants to be worked out. It's like it's begging to be worked out. And it's naturally your intuition is very strong, but at the end of the day, I always see intuition as a skill. I see intuition as a muscle. It's like anything. If you don't practice it, you start losing it. I always say I'm a native Russian speaker, but when I don't speak Russian for a while, I completely forget vocabulary. I forget words. I mix up my grammar. And it's all because I'm not practicing it. And it's kind of intuition's kind of like Russian. No, but intuition is let's say it's like a language. And intuition is a language, isn't it? It's a way of communicating with something beyond physical, beyond human. So if you look at that, do you know what these little circles always make me think of flags for some reason, flags of the world. So it's kind of I'm thinking intuition is like a language. If you don't practice it, you start to kind of lose the finesse, or not the finesse, the savviness with which you speak it. So you have to practice, and I feel like that's what your intuition is kind of saying. It's kind of like if you were born with a knack for languages, if you were born with a natural talent for languages, but replace it with intuition, and you never ever used it, and you never ever let yourself practice it. And that's kind of the metaphor that I'm getting for you. Group number 1. Well, that's the message that your guides wanted to tell you. This was actually really fun. I actually really enjoyed it. I might do this kind of style of reading a bit more often. If you like this reading, do subscribe, and comment with your feedback. It was really fun to channel for you, Pile group, Red Jasper group. I hope you had a good time with me, and I'm going to move on. So we're going to move on to pile or group number 2. This is the pyrite group. Let's get started. So I'm going to be channeling. I actually had a really good time channeling for group 1. So we're going to see what's happening with group 2. What do you want to talk about with group 2? What is the topic of conversation? Oh, okay. So we've got 2 cards again. We had 2 cards fall out first. So I'm doing a bit more channeling in this. I'm trying not to use as many cards. So for group 2, let's go. We've got 7 of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And I instantly put because I started out like this with group 1, but then I kind of moved them here. So I'm kind of going with it. 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords. Someone could be, I'm getting a message that there's someone quite sneaky around you. Again, this please don't feel like this is about to be some scary reading. It's not. I think this is someone you might even suspect is a little bit sneaky. This is someone who likes. Okay, let me think about this, because I'm getting a lot of I keep hearing resources. Resources. This person collects resources. This could be someone who's sneaky, who's trying to like use you as a resource for something. Like maybe this person wants to use you for personal connections. This person could be using you for, someone who could help their career. You are a resource to someone. And again, in a way, we're all a resource to someone, right? Like we're all interconnected beings. We're not, no matter how much we want to talk about independence, we all need each other. We're communal animals, we're communal creatures. But something about this person, they almost just see you as a resource. I just heard they're a clown. Okay. Or they want to take you for a clown. Like they almost want to. No, I don't think that's like. But why did I hear they're a clown? That just came in, they're a clown, and I got the clown emoji like just zoom into my like kind of into my mind's eye, and now now like the circus theme is playing in my head. Okay. Here, let me know if you got this pile, because I feel like you have a sense of humor. Like I feel like you're a really funny person. Maybe you always call yourself a clown. You're like, oh, the circus is in town or something like that. Because you're really funny. This group is so funny. Oh my god, you're hilarious. They're a clown. Maybe you know that this person's a clown. You're kind of like, oh, okay, they can stay clowning, like they can continue on clowning, and I'm just gonna continue living my life. I kind of feel like that this person's trying to be like slippery or tricky with you, but you're not gonna let them. Like you're like, better. I think intuitively you know better, but I'm seeing that just your cards are saying, look, your intuition or your suspicions about this person are right. This is a person who sees people, my boyfriend's family always say this phrase, and it's always like when a person wakes up and they want to know what the world can do for them, not what they can do for the world. I kind of feel like there's a person like that around you. A person who thinks like, how can I get something out of this person? How can I turn this person into a resource? And please don't take it personally, because I think they do it to everyone in their life. They do it to everyone in their life. They literally see everything as a resource. How can something give me something? How can I reward myself through this interaction, through this person? I'm getting like they'll go to a bar and try to get free drinks. Like I'm getting, in a way, they see themselves as like this finessing person, but it's fun and all. Like I do always consider, like, if you can get a free drink at the bar, great. If you can get something for free, great. Finesse the system, whatever it is. But I feel like when it goes into personal connections and they're taking advantage of people in their personal life, that's where it crosses the boundary a little bit and it gets messy. I feel like this person can be a bit messy in the way that they deal with people. They really see you as someone who has their shit together. They see you as someone who is, you either have money or you give the impression that you are very savvy with money, or you're going to maybe earn a lot of money one day. Maybe you're on your way to get like a really good job, or maybe you're on the way to be quite successful, and they see like this person sees potential in other people, because in a way this person's very intuitive, because they see potential in other people. And when they see this potential in other people, they know that that's the person they need to latch on to. They need to latch on to that person, because what if there's some sort of opportunity? But as soon as they feel like you're maybe going into, the way life kind of goes up and down and up and down, it's never the same. It's never like and happily ever after. So, sometimes you're making loads of money. Sometimes you're not making that much, or maybe sometimes you're super successful, sometimes you're not that successful, it ebbs and flows. And I think this person kind of comes in and out of people's lives. Like they'll latch onto someone who they feel is going to be successful, and they're going to stick for the ride, and then they'll be like, oh, I really like you, and I really want to spend time with you. And they'll get like, this could be like a really good networker. And again, I think I network, everybody networks. Networking is great and it's very important, again, but they network in a very kind of like self-sufficient way without any regard for other people. They're just kind of like, good connection. I know this is a good connection. Be careful if you are about to spend money on anyone or spend money on anything. Just be careful, because maybe somebody is trying to like finesse you out of money. Just be careful if it's like someone offering a service and they're being really maybe even overly crossing a boundary and kind of being like, oh hey, like you should really sign up to my program, you should really sign up to this, you should really sign up to that. There's almost kind of like, if this is someone who's overly like, it's good to advertise your services, right? It's good to like, put up reviews that you got. That's all natural. We all do it because that's how products sell. But if it's someone, I'm just kind of getting the idea of like, because I remember a lot of tarot readers getting scammed, or not the tarot readers getting scammed, but people getting scammed through tarot readers, because people were, acting as tarot readers from YouTube, from Instagram, and contacting people through their DMs and like putting comments under people's comments and being like, hey, contact me for a free reading, or like contact me for a reading, I'd love to do a reading for you. And it was like, what the hell is going on? I feel like this person could be like that. Like they could be DMing you and going like, oh my god, you should really sign up with me, like I provide really good service. If it's kind of crossing into that boundary, just be careful. Just be careful if anyone around you is like that. And I feel like you know that on an intuitive level already, Pile or Group 2. But it's just kind of funny to me. Just be careful of kind of like people who, if someone appears like they're in it for resources or only in, trying to get in contact with you for connections, believe it, as far as your intuition goes, Pile or Group 2. Okay, we've also got the Princess of Pentacles. This could be someone who's even presenting themselves as having a lot of knowledge or having a lot of experiences when they actually don't. This could be someone who's presenting themselves as having loads of money even, and being like, I've made all, when people are like, why am I thinking of like MLM, pyramid schemes? Like when people are like, I made so much money from like this, making money from home, and you find out it's a pyramid scheme. Like, just be careful of stuff like that. I'm not saying that you're going to fall for a pyramid scheme or anything like that, but just be careful of like finessers. Yeah, look at this. We've got the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. This is someone who's trying to show you with their whole might and their whole being that they're the shit, basically, so that they can finesse you, or they can get something out of you, or become a connection of yours. It's like they see potential in you. They see potential in you, and they want to latch on to you. Also, I'm really getting, be careful of false like prophets or gurus and stuff like that. This could even be as simple as like a celebrity online. Let's say you've been looking at a celebrity online using a product and like swearing up by it. And maybe this is your cards, like your guides literally coming through and being like, don't trust this celebrity and don't buy that product. Don't waste your money, please. This could be as simple as that. Like, I'm really getting a strong message of like, don't be putting your money into something where you intuitively already feel like, oh damn, maybe I shouldn't be investing all my money into this. Maybe I shouldn't be putting all my money into this. Be careful with scam artists. Be careful with like buying products that are maybe celebrities are being like being paid to promote or something like that. Basically, don't waste your money on anyone right now. Don't spend your money on people. Don't spend your money on people who may want to come off to you as they're like, I'm an expert and I really know, and I know what's good for you, and I promise you this is really good for you. Like, if person seems desperate to sell something to you, they probably are. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of like the message that's coming through. If someone seems desperate to sell something to you, to give something to you, to get you into some sort of contract, they probably are. Just even maybe be careful of a job doing that. You know, a job could be an offer of a job where they seem to be desperate to get you in. Maybe trust that desperation. Again, maybe that's why the whole clown idea came in. It's like, this person's so desperate, they're a clown. And again, I'm not trying to be like shady or anything like that, but that's what's coming through. So really, the spirit guides are the ones being shady. Do you know what I mean? Like, why? This pile is so funny. Like, I swear to God, whoever picked this pile, I swear to God, you're so funny. Because I keep kind of like these really random, like I'm just getting really random imagery that keeps popping into my head, and it's really stupid as well. So I feel like your spirit guides maybe are really funny, and they're kind of saying, look, you clicked on a pick a card reading, but we don't really have much for you. So here's a warning about not spending too much money, not spending money on shit you don't need. Don't spend money on shit you don't need. Don't spend money on people who seem desperate to sell you something. Don't go for financial opportunities, or, you know, something that, if something seems like, I'm really getting, if someone's really desperate to get you into something, to get you into a job, or to get you to buy something of them, or to invest some sort of money into them, then like, believe that, you know, believe that desperation, and that desperation is there for a reason. Honestly, that's all I'm getting for you, pile 2, group 2. I really enjoyed doing this. This was really fun. You made me laugh, which was really nice. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment. And I'm going to move on. That's what was playing in my head, if you're still stuck around. But I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to Citrine, group tree. Let's move on and channel. Last group was really funny, just the silliest messaging coming out. But for you, let's just channel. Let's get some cards. I'm going to try and use a minimum amount of cards, and mostly doing channeling. And let's see just what do your guides want to talk about today. What do they want to talk about? Okay. What do your guides? Okay. Temperance card in reverse. Just gonna get one more card, because I've been doing 2 cards and then doing 2 cards for clarification. So and we've got 7 of Cups. Okay. And I've been putting, because I started with this, but then group 1, for some reason, I was just called to put them the other way. So that's just the way I'm doing them now. Okay, let's have a look. Temperance in reverse, 7 of Cups. You don't have to rush to choose something. You do have to choose something, but you don't have to be impulsive about choosing it. Maybe you're feeling like you're overwhelmed with some sort of choice. Maybe you're overwhelmed with options that you're meant to be you kind of feel like, I really need to make up my mind on what I want to do. This could be, for some reason, for some of you, I feel like maybe it's career or life path related. You're kind of thinking, I really need to choose for myself what the hell it is that I actually want to do, and I need to go after it. And I feel like your guides are saying, yeah, of course you have to choose. At the end of the day, we have to narrow down, because if you think about it, the world is full of possibilities. The world is full of options. And at the end of the day, like, a lot of options are appealing, right? You know, you look at the world as a child and it's like, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a ballerina, I want to be a police officer, or, you know, like all these classic, not police officer, but I want to be like a judge, and I want to be a lawyer, but I also want to be a scientist. I want to be an artist. I want to be a singer. I want to be an actor. You know, as a child, you're like, I want to be doing all these things. And as an adult, you start realizing, okay, I can't do all of these things. I kind of have to pick 1 or 2 or 3 and stick to them. And I feel like your guides are saying, it's kind of funny, because in childhood, we're like, we want to do all these things. And then kind of closer to adulthood, it really shrinks, and we almost end up on a whole different side where we're like, actually I can't do anything, I need to like do one thing. And I feel like your guides are saying, well, actually you can't do all the things, and you can't do just, or you don't have to do just the one thing. There's actually a middle ground where you can do multiple things. You can do multiple things if you want to, but you need to also choose what those multiple things are going to be. Are you going to be someone who exercises a lot and maybe is really into fitness, but you're also an artist, but you also like to make things out of wood and do woodwork? I don't know, like you know, and maybe that's your hobby that you do on your weekend. Or are you going to be someone who is maybe really into music and you're really sticking to music, but you also do some other career? Maybe you're a lawyer. Let's say you're a lawyer, but you also really like playing music, and you come home and you kind of like unwind while playing music, but you also like to do some gardening when you have the time and when the weather is nice. You know, there's different passions that you can integrate with each other. And again, like if you wanted to be an artist but you also wanted to be a musician, but you could also create cover art for your albums, like there's different things that you can integrate together, and temperance is exactly about that. Maybe you're just, it's almost like you have, let's say you've got these 7 options in the 7 of Cups. You've got the 7 options and you're seeing them as completely separate, and you're seeing options of, you know, sports, painting, gardening, or music. And I have to have like Monday and Tuesday, and I have to decide what I'm doing on Monday, and I have to decide what I'm doing on Tuesday, and what I have to do on Wednesday. But I feel like your guides are saying you can actually integrate some of your interests and put them together and like weave them together. I'm kind of seeing a lot of interests weaving together for you, pile or group 3. You don't have to pick them and be rigid with them as well. Like, while we do have to narrow things down, we also have the beautiful freedom of intertwining interests. So for example, let's say I'm a tarot reader, but I am also really, 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 really interested in astrology. So I like to intertwine astrology with my tarot readings quite often. Not all the time, but sometimes I really feel called to it. I feel called to look at what's happening in general astrologically. You know, when I used to do my podcast, I kind of stopped it a little bit because I felt like it wasn't really getting that much traction, but maybe in the future I will do it again. But I used to do general readings about what's going on in the stars and then kind of read tarot and see how that coincided together. And I feel like, again, a lot of readers do that, and that's like 2 interests intertwining into one. But outside of that, I also like to draw and create art, even though right now I'm kind of like, I'm feeling a little bit of a block. But that's something that I'm interested in as well. And I like to, sometimes I like drawing scenes from tarot. I like, trying to create modern scenes of tarot. I kind of think about how we can modernize tarot through imagery as well. So there's different things that I like that I'm trying to intertwine right now. So I feel like this group is, you're very like that. Your interests, they don't always have to be separate. You know, you could play music and you could be a musician, but you could also create art that maybe represents who you are as a musician, maybe represents what style of music you do play. You could maybe play around with I'm not even sure, like you could create music and use that music as inspiration for painting, or paint something and write a song about the painting that you painted or something like that. And again, these are just examples that I'm giving. You could have wildly left field niche hobbies that I'm not even aware of, but maybe you can intertwine them with different things. And you always see that, and that's how niches are even created, by mixing things to, like, if people only ever thought of music as music and music is separate to, let's say, gardening even, we wouldn't have certain things. Gardening is a stupid one to pick, right? That was a really stupid one to say. Why did I say gardening out of all things? Okay, I'm not gonna knock myself down for that one. Maybe gardening and music have their place. Actually, there's a guy on TikTok that uses like clamps that clamp onto leaves of plants, and they create music. So actually, no, that wasn't stupid. That was a great example. So there you go. You know, so why am I so pumped for you? Group 3. I'm just like pumped. I feel like there's a realization that's happening with you that you can intertwine many different passions. And it's like you're doing different passions, you're doing them at the same time, and they're interacting. See your hobbies and your interests as, don't see them so rigidly. And I think you're also realizing this. Like, I feel like you don't even need to really say it to, or maybe you've already been feeling it, but you haven't really known how to put it into words. Like, intertwining things that you like. It's like a fun crossover, you know, like when, you know, comic books or whatever, and then the hero from one comic book goes to the other comic book and it's a crossover. That's like what you can do with your hobbies. It's a hobby crossover. Maybe that's something that, like, maybe that's like a inner child exercise that you can even do a crossover with your hobbies. Let's say you really like playing football, but you also really like, I don't know, playing the tin whistle. If you really like playing the tin whistle and you really like football, how can you intertwine the two? Can you write a song about your favorite football team? I don't know. Like, literally, that's what's coming through. Like, I'm kind of getting a level of silliness with you, Pile 3 or Group 3. Like, I'm getting maybe you're taking things too seriously. You're taking your hobbies as something serious, and you're taking your hobbies as something, you know, I'm a serious artist. I need to see myself as a serious artist, or I need to see myself as a serious musician, etc., etc. Like, why not just mix the two, make it silly, make it stupid? You have permission to do that from your guides. I feel like that's what's coming through. And choosing these kind of options. And again, it kind of talks about, you know, when we talk about like societal things and like how people often feel like they have to pick family, or they have to pick career, or, you know, whatever it is that they have to pick. And maybe, you know, this is kind of reflecting in you how you don't always you have to adapt one to the other, but you don't necessarily have to choose between the two. You can always integrate both. Obviously, there are certain situations where you can't integrate both, where you have to pick one or the other. Sometimes we are at a standstill and we do have to make a choice. But I feel like you're actually in a really good place where you could integrate a lot of things that you like doing and put them together. And create something that is like an amalgam of all the things that you like. Maybe sit down and do a collage of all the things you like, all the things that get your interest. You know, when someone starts talking about astrology, you know, my attention straight away turns to that. I'm like, hello. So kind of think about if you were at a party and someone started talking about something, no matter how stupid it is, let's say someone started talking about, I don't know, a TV show that you really love. Put that in. You know, people, you know, I'm kind of thinking, even like, again, I'm probably letting you know I watch a lot of TikTok, but I was what's coming to mind is even that singer and songwriter that wrote the Bridgerton musical on TikTok, and she's putting it out on TikTok, and it's really getting traction and it's really getting attention. And you know, if she went and talked about like, oh my god, I'm so obsessed with Bridgerton, you know, a lot of people might feel silly about talking about their favorite show and being so passionate about their favorite show. But she took that passion for a show that she really liked and she really felt connected to, and she created something amazing again. And I kind of feel like that's the energy that is coming through here. Like, some of you might be feeling like, oh yeah, like I don't really have any hobbies. I'm just really obsessed with a show. You know, I'm really obsessed with The Office or something. How stupid is that? Like, there's no reason you couldn't go and write the Office like musical, The Office the musical. Like, why not? If that's something that you like, why the hell not? I actually would love to see that, by the way. If anyone wants to do that, I'd love to see that. Anyway. But why not? Like, why not? Are you obsessed with are you obsessed with watching slime videos or something like that? Like, why not think about how you can play homage to things that you really like? No matter how perceivably stupid they are, no matter how unimpressive they are, you know? at one point, I remember when I was reading Twilight, it was really stupid to be obsessed with Twilight. And here I was obsessed with Twilight and ashamed of it. And now it's like a whole, like, the amount of memes that come out of it and how much people love talking about how kind of bad but also how transformative Twilight was to a lot of people. And it's like, why not? Like, you know, someone wrote, like, literally 50 Shades of Grey was based on Twilight, and it's like that woman earned loads of money. Like, she earned her living. She got that bag. Like, why not? Sorry, I'm just like so pumped for you. Maybe you need to be pumped. You need to be pumped for something because you are capable of achieving many things. I don't even know if I need to pull more cards for you. Group 3. How long have we been here? We've been here for a while, haven't we? Oh, let's just pull one. I'm so psyched. Like, I'm psyched for you. Or psyched. Is that the right word to use? I'm pumped. I'm jazzed. Let's see. If you don't want to give me a card, that's fine. If we're done here, we're done here. Okay, no. One last card. Yeah, it's like there's a transformation that is begging to happen. And I feel like this transformation is begging to happen because you need to end thinking that the thinking pattern that I feel, or like this kind of discomfort that you feel with things that you really like. Maybe some of you like things that you know, it's kind of like the K-pop fan stans, you know, like maybe you just really like something, and why not? Actually, there's a tarot reader, Brooke Waldorf, that comes to mind. I love her readings, but she's a tarot reader, but she also absolutely loves K-pop. She is obsessed with K-pop. I have no interest in K-pop. I literally couldn't care less about K-pop, but I love watching her videos. She does tarot readings and she puts K-pop idols. She puts K-pop idols as part of her readings. Like, she creates these oracle cards that, like, she makes them herself, and she puts like the lyrics. It's BTS, isn't it? BTS is the group. So she puts BTS quotes in her oracle cards that she makes, and she just loves BTS and K-pop, and why not? And her readings are amazing and they're so much fun. So, like, why not integrate things that you love? Or like Charmed Intuition, even if anyone watches her tarot channel, she integrates like The Nightmare Before Christmas, or, you know, those movies that she loved as a, you know, when she was a child. And, you know, they create magical, beautiful videos that are fun to watch, that are interesting. So why not integrate things, and who cares about what anyone says? So I feel like it's all about integration for you. So just to get it back to the basics, I think it's all about integration for you, Pal 3. You can integrate things that you like. You can be inspired by the littlest thing. As long as it inspires you, who gives a shit about what is the actual thing that inspired you? You know, if you literally saw like, why is this is so stupid, but like, if you literally saw, I actually can't say. If you saw a turd on the street and it inspired you, it doesn't matter if it's a turd. It still inspired you, and it's the feeling that you got from it, okay? Like, okay, that was really stupid. But if it was a turd that inspired you, it doesn't matter that it was like a turd, because you got inspired, and that's what matters. That's what matters, and that's what actually counts. And if you actually created something cool and amazing, something that gained traction through it, fucking great. Like, thanks, turd. Okay, I'm gonna go. Bye. I'm kind of enjoying channeling. I'm kind of having a good time. Okay. Thank you, Group 3. I had a really good time. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment. And I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to pile 4, Group 4, with the Malachite. Let's channel for you. Let's see what your guides want to talk about. The last 2 groups were real energetic. There was a lot of energy, so let me try and chill. We might pick it up again, but let's see what the Malachites have in store for them. And also, really weird metaphors coming out today. Okay, 4 of Cups. Yeah, I feel like your energy is a little bit less zany. And we've also got the Ace of Cups. Oh, God. I don't mean actually. That was an overreaction. I'm in an overreacting mood right now because of the last two piles. So blame the last two piles for this, okay? It's not an oh God situation. I think you're exhausted though. I feel like your guides are wanting to say, you know what? I'm really sorry. And like, I've been getting really stupid metaphors, and I feel like I'm just in a really silly mood today. Kind of like a real, just weird mood. But I'm kind of seeing, like, see the way this hand is coming out with the cup, and then the cup is like upside down here. It's almost like the guides are trying to talk to you or communicate with you. And I'm just seeing the imagery of like this guy sitting under this tree, and he's just going like this to the cup and going like, you know what, like when cats, when you're like watching the cat and the cat is like pushing the glass, and you're like, no, and the cat just pushes the glass off. I feel like maybe that's the energy that the guys are kind of saying, look, we've been trying to talk to you, we've been trying to connect with you, but you've just been like knocking the glass over. So maybe when your guides are trying to communicate with you, you tend to just go no. Look, not necessarily in that kind of way, but maybe there's been some attempts at communication from your guides, and they've been trying to interact with you or give you messages, and maybe you're rejecting messages. You could be rejecting messages. You could be, in some instances, some of you could be rejecting opportunities because you're not in a very good emotional state, and opportunities almost feel like burdens to you. Opportunities could feel like burdens, but even like, I'm kind of getting like, even receiving messages from your guides can feel almost burdensome to some of you. A big message here. And actually, do you know what's funny? Because see the cloud here, this is coming out of a cloud, and also this hand is coming out of a cloud. So I'm really seeing that something, it's almost like your guides are feeling like a cup that they're giving you is being spilled. And they're not blaming you. I want you to know this is a very compassionate kind of energy. This isn't definitely like, they're not saying, hey, I'm giving you a full cup and you're just pouring it out, how dare you. Like, this feels a little bit more like, look, we're trying to give you messages or things that are gonna help you. You're not in the right emotional state to receive it right now, obviously, and maybe you're not noticing it because of your emotional state. And again, they're not blaming you. I think there's a lot of compassion and understanding for what you're going through emotionally right now. But I think you're not necessarily without, like, maybe things feel a little bit hopeless to you right now. Even if it's not on that dramatic scale, things might feel a little bit more hopeless than the average day, the average week, month. But I feel like your guides are saying, like, not all is lost. We will always bring you another cup. It's kind of like whenever we give you a cup, and just because you reject it doesn't mean there's not going to be another cup coming. I feel like your guides are like, it's not like we're one day just gonna go screw this person, we're out, bye. Like, they're never gonna be like, we're not your guides anymore. They are gonna continue being your guides and supporting you, but they're just trying to get through to you. Or maybe there's certain messages that you're getting and it's like you're processing them and you're understanding them, but then you are still going against the messages that you're getting. Because maybe you're just not trusting the messages. There's almost like a give and take situation that's playing out here. I feel like your guides are really, they're trying to establish more of a relationship with you. Maybe it's literally like your guides would really love for you to meditate and to like meditate with the intention of connecting with them. I feel like your guides might be really wanting you to go out in nature so that you connect with them. Sit by bodies of water potentially. I feel like something about the sound of water being really good for you. Maybe the sound of water really calms you. Like, if you live by the sea, or if you live like around like any body of water that you could go and visit. I feel like there's something about the sound of water. You could even maybe, like, I'm kind of getting, you could even like listen to sounds of water, you know, kind of rain sounds. So maybe because I'm thinking of, like, you know, when you YouTube rain sounds, or you find the sound of crashing waves. Like, I like to listen to stuff like that sometimes. I feel like your guides are saying that's a really good thing for you to use, especially if you're trying to connect to the guides, or if it's raining outside, that's a really good time for you to meditate. You know, if it's ever raining outside and you kind of, you know, can hear all this rain. I'm really getting a lot of sound for you. So I'm getting that you are quite clairaudient. I feel like your guides are even maybe sending you messages through songs. You could be getting a lot of messages through even other people's speech. So maybe the reason you reject a lot of these messages is because they're coming from humans. It's like the messages are coming from people. You know, something that a friend or a parent tells you, or, you know, a sister or brother, whoever tells you, you're not ready to receive it because it came from a human. But your guides are kind of like, but it is coming from us. It's just the human is a vessel, but we're actually messaging you. So, you know, somebody might give you advice, or somebody might give you some sort of, maybe like a fair criticism, or, you know, some constructive criticism, and you might reject it. And your guides are like, oh, that was actually us. Your guides, why am I getting that your guides are like super awkward but super nice and compassionate? They're like, that was actually us, but okay, we're gonna try another time. I'm sorry, all the piles, I mean, no shade to pile number 1. It wasn't as like, I wasn't as I think it's just pile 2 was really, really high energy, and it's just like domino effect into all the other piles, so, or piles groups. The pyrite one was really funny, and just the message was really silly as well, so I feel like it just kind of knocked over. But I feel like you actually have it's like you have a very serious message, and your guides, they're not necessarily like solemn or somber. I feel like they are very humorous, but there's almost like a awkwardness, because, and again, like, not that spirit guides are awkward, or, you know, I'm not an authority on spirit guides, no, by no means. I'm a card reader, so just like treat this channel as that. You know, if I ever become super spiritually aware, I'll let you know, but I'm not an authority on all these things. So if you have a certain relationship with your spirit guides, and you're kind of hearing me say they want to have more with you, but you feel like you're kind of happy with where you are with your spirit guides, that's fine. Like, you don't have to do what I say the cards are telling me you have to do or should do. Always make sure that you're checking with your own intuition. But I feel like your guides are kind of like, they're sending you little messages, and maybe someone gives you advice or something like that, and you're like, this person doesn't know anything. Like, why are they giving me this advice? They literally don't know my situation. And it's like, yes, this person doesn't know your situation, but your guides do, and they're using this person as a vessel to deliver the message. So maybe this is resonating with some of you now, that you have heard some things, advice or critiques or whatever it is, that maybe made you feel like, oh, maybe this advice kind of resonates, but this person doesn't know me. They don't know anything. Like, so why should I take their advice? That's the kind of message that I'm getting for you, group 4. Like, just because the advice is coming from a person who doesn't know you, sometimes, of course, use your intuition, but sometimes it can actually be advice from your guides, and the person is just a vessel. Because this reminds me of, like, my mom told me one day, she one of my brothers or sisters, they're, you know, some of them are little, asked her a question, and she literally didn't have an answer for the question that they asked, and she felt like something took over her mouth and her body, and gave an answer. And she just gave an answer, and it was such an eloquent answer, and she literally thought, that did not come from me. That came from something else. So, but it was such a good answer and it really helped. So I'm kind of getting that, like, sometimes people will say something very profound, and I've definitely experienced that with other people, where someone will tell you something very profound, and I think people would be surprised themselves that they could even say something so wisdomous, So sometimes the wisdom or the advice, it's not actually coming from the person. It's coming from your guides, but the person is meant to reflect something back to you. Interesting. So let's pull more cards for you, group 4. Okay. I'll just take the one because just one came out. So we've got the 7 of Pentacles. Well, the 7 of Pentacles does talk about patience, of course. But I'm just noticing, like, the watering can here again. So there's watering can. There's a lot of alluding to water. So maybe some of you are just water signs as well. But water seems to be super important. If you're trying to manifest anything, I feel like your best bet is using water to help you manifest. Using water to manifest, using water sounds to meditate, meditating during like rain or like rainy time is coming through. But all of this is connected to your spirit guides trying to help you. Just because it's taking long to get your, like, I feel for some of you, maybe it's a manifestation that you're literally feeling like, I've been trying to get this manifestation to come to fruition forever, and it just hasn't come up at all. And I feel like your guides are saying, hey, like, the manifestation is coming. It's taking slower to build, because maybe sometimes, again, like when we try to connect with you, maybe you're not getting the messaging as strictly or as straightforwardly as we'd like you to, but it's not your fault. It's, maybe sometimes we could learn how to communicate with you a bit better. It's kind of like, I feel like everything is trial and error here. And just because you're not getting your manifestation doesn't mean that your guides are not working on getting it to you. I'm not saying that you're blaming your guides or the universe, but I think maybe your frustration, it's like your guides are like, we can feel your frustration. We understand your frustration, but we're doing our best. Like, they really are doing their best. And they're so compassionate. There's so much compassion around your guides. Like, they're so caring. You are really, really cared for by your guides. Like, your guides really have so much, like, there's a tenderness about them. They're not like these mighty spirits. They're quite tender and they're quite soft with the way that they're delivering this message anyway to me. But something, I don't know why, but because I'm getting this person's watering this tree, right? And he's sitting at a tree. So I'm kind of getting that you're watering the tree that you're sitting at. But it's about the communication. It's like you're growing something. You're growing some sort of manifestation, and it's like happening. It's happening maybe not as quickly as you want it to happen, maybe not as efficiently or effectively as you want it to happen, but it is happening. Oh, do you know what I'm getting? There's so many other manifestations that you have grown like this. Think about things that you've manifested already. There's so many trees like this, and take that as a metaphor for your manifestation. There's so many trees that you have manifested like this that now you sit at and you ignore them. You ignore the tree and you forget that you've actually created this and you've manifested this. So it's like there's so many manifestations and so many wishes that you've brought to fruition through your hard work and with the help of your guides. But then as soon as you got the manifestation, you sit at this tree and you sit here and thinking, I'm incapable of bringing my manifestations into light. I'm incapable of bringing my manifestations to fruition. And I kind of getting that the cards are saying, just look behind you. Look behind you at all the manifestations that you've brought to light before. Look, you've done this before and you'll do it again. Oh, that I feel like that's actually the main message of the whole thing. And I just spent loads of time talking, but I feel like that's the main message. You've done this before. Whatever you're trying to manifest, you've done it before, just in a different form, in a different costume, I guess. Like you've this wish has been brought to fruition, but maybe like in slightly different style or whatever, you know. So that's what I get for you. That's what I got for you, group 4. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really enjoying channeling. It was really fun, and thank you for hanging out with me. If you like this, do like, subscribe, and comment with your feedback. I don't know why I showed you that. The star card in reverse. Maybe you can use that in some sort of way. Maybe someone needed to see it, but I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to group 5, and that's the Black Tourmaline group. Group 5, let's have a look and see, what do your guides want to talk about? What is the message for you? I feel like the other piles were really successful, so I'm really excited to do yours. I have a really good feeling about this reading for some reason. So let's have a look and see what your guides want to tell you. I feel like I need to do another little shuffle. Okay. So straight away we've got 3. So you got 3 cards right off the bat. Now the other piles or groups started out with 2 cards, so you are getting special treatment. Okay, so we've got 3 of Swords. We've got the 9 of Wands. Actually, do you know what? I've been doing it like this, so I'm kind of wanting to do it like this. You can see all of it. Yeah, you can see all of the cards. So we've got 3 of Swords, 9 of Wands, and the Strength card in reverse. Well, it's funny because both 9 of Wands and the Strength card talk about resilience to me. I'm getting this kind of feeling of when you feel like you can't do it anymore, you move forward and you prove it to yourself again that you can do more and more and more. It's kind of like maybe in the past, or maybe you're going through some sort of heartbreak right now, because we've got this 3 of Swords here. So you could be going through some sort of heartbreak right now. You could be going through something quite difficult right now. Something that's really testing you, testing your resilience, testing your ability to stand through heartbreak, stand through hurtful situations. But I feel like your guides are saying look back at the times that you thought you couldn't do it. Look back at the times that you couldn't do it, that you weren't going to get there, that you weren't going to survive, and you proved yourself wrong time and time again. What makes you think that you're not going to prove yourself wrong again? That's what's coming through for group 5. It's like every time you thought that surely this is gonna break me, surely this is gonna just this is gonna break me, this is gonna bankrupt me. Why is that coming through? Surely this is gonna bankrupt me. And every time you moved on again, and every time you moved on again, and every time you kept going. It's almost like you're going through something bad, or bad is real, like not bad. I would say you're going through something difficult, something maybe that is weighing heavy on your heart and is quite painful. Actually, yeah, like, you know what? There was a bit of a humorous tone with all the other groups, or most of the other groups. With you, I'm getting a bit of a heaviness, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm just kind of getting like, I'm so tired, I can't do this anymore. Like, and it's just it's a very genuine, authentic kind of feeling of, I just can't do it anymore. Like I just don't want to do it anymore. So there's something that you're maybe almost kind of feeling like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it. I don't want to feel like I have to do it. And your guides are saying, every time you say this, something comes about. Every time you say this, the sun comes out again. Because again, we're getting these rain clouds here. And I always forget that in the 3 of Swords. That's why I actually like doing these kind of channeling readings a bit more. I've done this for private readings a little bit more, but I don't often do this for pick a cards, where I actually just have like one or two or three cards that I'm just going off. Like, I kind of forget that the clouds and the rain are behind the Three of Swords. I kind of mostly think of the Three of Swords as this heart that has three swords piercing through it. But with this, I'm really getting like something, it's raining on your parade, basically. Something is cloudy. It feels heavy. It's like, when the weather is crap and it's raining, and you're just like, you're walking through the rain and you're just thinking, oh, I'm so sick of this. I don't want to be in the rain. I don't want my hair to be all wet. I don't want this. And you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to get home. I want to dry off. And I feel like the cards are kind of saying, like, every time you felt like this in the past, every time you felt like you just can't move on, and I can't be doing this anymore, every time you were proven to be strong enough to get over to the other side where the sun came out. Do you know what I mean? You are resilient. Like, I feel like this group has been through some serious you know? And it's like, I'm almost getting like, you've been through things that were maybe objectively even worse or more difficult. And again, I don't like saying those things, because it's like, who's to say what's more difficult than the other thing? It all depends on your state of mind. It all depends on, even your age or your experience. We always tend to kind of feel like, oh, this person went through a trauma that's worse than this person. But who's to say that? And who's to categorize it right like this? But I feel like your guides are saying you've been through similar, like, at the essence of what I'm feeling, it's not even, similar scenarios or similar things or similar heartbreak, but you've been through this emotion before. That's probably the best way to put it. Oh my God. Because emotion is universal, right? Because we think about experiences and we try to categorize experiences, and we try to categorize trauma, but at the end of the day, you've been through, emotion is all the same. Emotion is, oh my God, I feel like I just got a download or something. Like, emotion is universal. Heartbreak is universal. Whether you're having heartbreak over like a pet dying or some sort of like global disaster, heartbreak is universal. So your heartbreak is valid, because everyone knows what heartbreak feels like. Everyone knows what sadness feels like. Emotion is still an emotion, and you're allowed to feel it. Just because the world tries to categorize different traumas or different unfortunate events to fit, like, oh, this is worse than this, and you shouldn't be crying over this, and you shouldn't be sad over this. Like, that doesn't negate the idea that, or not the idea, or the fact that emotion is still there. And if you're feeling the emotion, you're gonna feel it on that deep level. But also, what the cards are kind of trying to convey here is that the resilience that comes with coming out on the other side of that emotion, it's kind of like your guys are trying to say, like, the heartbreak is strong, but you've also felt the joy. And even though the joy seems so far away right now, you know what it felt like. And you know what it felt like to be in that joyous moment. And just think about how, when you finally get over this heartbreak, or you kind of like get on the other side of the fence to that joyous part, how good it's going to feel to know that you didn't give up. For some of you, maybe you're thinking, and it's funny because actually Carrie, if she's watching this, Carrie from Carrie's Cosmic Corner, she had a reading yesterday that blew me away, and it was about not giving up on something. And I'm kind of getting a similar message here. It's kind of like, do not give up. You've done this before. You know how to do it. It's not easy, and there's compassion from your guides about this not being easy. Really, there is. But you can uncover the strength that you need to. For a lot of you, maybe this is a breakup, and maybe you're literally feeling like, oh, I'm never dating again. I'm never gonna trust another person, give my heart to another person. Why would I do that? And your guides are like, because that's what we do as humans. Like, that's literally our kind of whole purpose. Our whole purpose is to feel emotions and have experiences. There's no other purpose. Like, there's no other purpose other than to have emotions, feel experiences, and feel life. That's literally everything that we're meant to be doing. And again, I'm not trying to preach, because I forget this shit all the time. I'm always like, oh, what's my purpose? And what am I meant to be doing in the world? Like, and again, I'm not like necessarily making fun of anyone that feels this way, because again, as I said, I feel this way. But I really feel like this is something that you maybe need to hear, that just keep going. Just keep going. The whole purpose, there's no like mission, purpose, dream, career, path, whatever. Like, it's not, again, it's not about your mission. It's not about your purpose. It's about the experiences and the emotions along the way. And at the end of the day, like, we remember things through emotion. Bad emotion or good emotion. And again, as a lot of people say, there's no good or bad emotion. Every emotion serves a purpose. And I feel like something is serving a purpose right now. Some sort of grieving period or heart ache period for you is serving some sort of purpose. And maybe even if that purpose is just to show you that you are able to get through a lot. I feel like you're a really inspirational person, pile 5. And I feel like you really don't recognize how many people you inspire, because they know there's something joyous about you at the same time. Like, that's what I'm getting. Maybe you're going through a period of difficulty or heartbreak, or feeling like things are just not going your way, and like you want to give up on something, you want to leave something behind. But you're really not noticing how many people are really admiring you and are feeling inspired by you. For some of you, if this is like an Instagram page or a YouTube channel, or like, whatever, Twitch, whatever it is that you're doing, maybe you feel like you're not getting a lot of views or something like that. And you're like, oh, I'm not getting a lot of views. Not a lot of people are watching me. Like, maybe I should just give up on this. And I feel that, it's like that thing of you might think that 100 views is not a lot, but if you were in a room with 100 people and they were watching you do your thing, how impactful would that feel? If you're doing something in the public eye and you're not getting a lot of people, like let's say you even get 50 likes on your Instagram post for your business or something like that, maybe 50 likes doesn't seem like a lot for a business, but if 50 people came up to you personally and said, I like this, how impactful would that be? And maybe treating things like that, and treating things, again, I'm not necessarily getting that this is for a job for some of you or a business. I'm just kind of using an example. But for a lot of you, I feel like maybe there's a relationship involved and you've been you're feeling heartbroken over something. Like, for some of you, you don't even realize how many people would feel so lucky for even a chance to be with you. But again, we have to remember, how many times was there a person that you liked or that you were interested in and you didn't come up to them and you didn't tell them that you liked them and you didn't tell them that you were interested in a relationship with them? Probably a lot. If you had a crush on, some people do. Some people are just kind of like, yeah, I don't care. I'm just going to tell the person that I like them. But if you think about it, how many times has there been a person that you liked or you found interesting and you thought they were really cool, but you didn't tell them? Probably a few, at least a few times. So just think about that the next time you feel like people don't like you or people don't have an interest in what you have to say. There's probably so many admirers that you have that just don't have the balls to come forward because they have their own things and their own hang-ups that they're thinking about. Again, it's kind of like that thing of we tend to feel like people Sometimes we might even think that people judge us a lot more than they actually are. Like at the end of the day, a lot of the time when you're talking to a person, instead of judging you, they're probably judging themselves and are probably worrying about themselves and what they're doing wrong in the conversation, you know? A lot of the time when you're standing there thinking about, what am I doing wrong when I'm having a conversation with this person? The other person's doing exactly the same thing. They're not thinking about, let's have a look and see what is he, she, or they, what are they doing wrong in this situation? And we've got the Fool card in reverse as well. Wait, I kind of feel like I want another card. And the Four of Swords in reverse. I feel for a lot of you, you also just need rest. I think you're very tired. I did get that. I kind of got a bit of a, I think you're tired. And I think in a lot of way you need to rest. But, rest doesn't always mean just like sitting back and just doing, sitting on the couch or whatever. Again, it can be a version of that. But sometimes rest also means, rest can be painting if you really love painting, Rest can be singing in the shower. Rest can be just singing, full stop. I feel like you need rest. And rest is not defined by, lying down, having a nap. Literally rest with what makes your soul happy. And maybe a lot of you are not giving yourself that kind of permission, I suppose. I just heard you're a diamond in the rough. So it kind of, again, like, I kind of don't like that saying, but I suppose it's like diamonds are created under pressure. So I feel like the pressure that you're going through, you are on the way to become a diamond. But you also need rest. Maybe some of you are real workaholics or something like that, and you put everything into your job, your YouTube channel, your Instagram page, whatever it is that you do. Maybe you have a Patreon, like, you're putting everything in, but your guides are kind of saying like, you have to, you're under pressure, and the pressure is also an important factor here, but you need to do something to rest. You deserve a rest. Maybe that's something that you don't say to yourself a lot. You know what? Maybe try the affirmation of I deserve to rest. I deserve to rest. Resting is a right. Actually, that came up with another reading that I recorded recently. I don't actually even know if I'll put it up, but I record so many readings I don't put up. That's another thing. I wonder why that came through, because like I don't know why I talked about that, but I feel like maybe things don't always have to happen in order for them to be like a perfect end. So I wonder if you feel like relationships that there could be almost like a collection of things that are playing on your mind. A lot of the time when we spiral or we have a sad period of time where we're kind of like in our head, it's not really that we're thinking about just the one thing. A lot of the time, all these things come together, and I kind of feel like that's what it's like for you, Pile, or Group 5. Like all these things have come together for you. Like, maybe a heartbreak and a relationship breakup, feeling stuck in a career path, feeling like there's a lot of pieces that are making you feel down right now. And in a lot of ways, again, swords are mental energy at the end of the day. It is because you're thinking about them a lot. Some of them might not even be reality for you presently, but you're thinking about them. Relationships that didn't work out, Just because it didn't work out doesn't mean that you invested time into it for nothing, like I feel about the way I feel about my YouTube readings. A lot of the time, some of them don't make it onto my channel, but I kind of sit there and I feel like it was a learning moment, and it gave me, because a lot of these readings that I don't end up putting up, I feel like give me an indication when I'm off and my intuition is off. And so I know not to put up that video because I'm like, oh, my intuition was off that day. And I wasn't in the, not even that day, but for that particular video or something like that. And I feel like for you, it's the same. It's like, just because you put effort into something and it didn't work out does not mean that it didn't have value and it didn't have importance. It gave you experience. It gave you like a wealth of knowledge. Like your life, I kind of feel like your life is so rich with experiences, both really fortunate and unfortunate. Like, I kind of feel like some of you could really write a book about your life or something like that, you know, like you've had a lot. And on any hero's journey, you know, if you think about any stories that we actually like, there's always adversity that the hero overcomes. And I feel like if we're to sum up this reading, which I feel like we should, because I'm probably talking for a very long time now, but I feel like on every hero's journey, like, you know, we wouldn't want to watch the movies that we watch or listen to the stories that we listen to if the hero didn't have some sort of adversity that they had to overcome to show themselves what they're capable of, and to show themselves that they're strong and they're built different. But like, that's basically what I'm getting for you. Like, you're on your hero's journey right now, and yes, you're in the, maybe you're in the heartbreak, feeling exhausted portion of that hero's journey, but your guides just can't wait for you to get on the other side and to see and look back and go, I really did that. I did that. I got over all of that and some, you know? So everything's honestly going to be okay. Allow yourself to rest. You deserve rest. You deserve to take time out. You don't have to rush anywhere right now. That's another thing that I'm getting for this group. But this is the reading that I got for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was something that helped you. If you feel, and look at that, the strength card turned upright. It's like, you can do this. Yeah, I feel like your guides are really wanting you to, like, you've been through this before. But yeah, if you like this reading, do like, subscribe, comment with your feedback. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Don't forget to maybe go and follow me on my Instagram if you feel like it, at Astro Wheel of Fortune. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.